Thokozani, good afternoon. Welcome everyone um, to this prayer session. Samukela bonke abangenile kulo mphahlo esiqhubeka nawo sikuday number 18. We are praying for healing ourselves, healing the national consciousness of the country, healing our families, healing our relationships, healing the nation. We acknowledge that we are all coming into this prayer. Nomphahlo singena kuwo wounded. Welcome everyone. So that is the starting point. Number 18. I just want to deal with the echo. There is an echo. Healing ourselves, healing the national consciousness of the country, healing our families, healing our relationships, healing the nation. We acknowledge that we are all coming into this prayer and wounded. So that is the starting point. I just want to the echo, healing ourselves, healing the national consciousness of the country, healing our families, healing our relationships, healing the nation. We acknowledge that we are all coming into this prayer and have to be enough more wounded. So that is the starting point. Today, we are honoring Ubaba Ukhedo Vusamazulu, the great one, Mpumelelo Wawamutha, as we continue with day 18 of this fasting. So we're going to share from the sessions that we have been having from the village. Some of us were speaking from the village, talking about the work of Usanusi, Ubaba Ukhedo Vusamazulu Wawamutha. Okhulumayo uGogo Solomon insizwa kaShabangu, ngicabanga ngenjabulo phakathi kwamagulube lugogo omkhulu ku-day number 18 of our fasting. Day number 18, some of us call it a hunger strike, for unity, for healing, and for love in South Africa. Singabantu, ribatu, saying umuntu ngabantu, We need to heal. We are asking for guidance. We are asking for umoya to lead us into this process yokuphahla bogogo nabomkhulu makhehla amadala. Siyakwamukela gogo Thuli phakathi kwamagulube endlondlo to come into this prayer session. Angihambi ngedwa bogogo. We are broadcasting live from Ikhwelo Healers Collective, where we come from. Ngihamba nogogo phakathi la ngihleli khona amakhehla amadala insizwa kaKhutseri. Ngiphinde ngihambe noSipho wakwaVilakazi okhona phakathi kwamagulube. Ezindlondlo samukela abangena ku-Facebook. So today we are continuing makhehla amadala to listen to what the Spirit is saying. But we actually are sharing from where we have been sitting yesterday and from ikhaya lendaba. What emanated from ikhaya lendaba, what have been the conversations from ikhaya lendaba. And without any waste of time, bogogo sizophahla sivule umsebenzi ngendlela yakhona. This is a prayer session. Siyahlahluba at the same time. We are listening to the voices of reason. We are listening to umoya ukuthi uthini. So feel free bogogo phakathi kwamagulube to share with us from where you are sitting. Makhehla amadala bogogo mkhulu sivula ngenjabulo phezu kwalo mphahlo ka-3 o'clock. Singena bogogo sivela yonke indawo siyikhwelo Healers Collective. Makhehla amadala sihlangene phakathi kwesikhathi se-COVID-19 seeking guidance for a healing program to heal ourselves and the national consciousness in the country of South Africa. We acknowledge that healing also requires that we heal from the continent of Africa. Makhehla amadala, we have been speaking, we have been saying, we've been listening, we have been praying from various systems of healing in the country. Praying siyizangoma, siyizinyanga, singabocamagu, singamagedla, being psychologists and psychiatrists, being pharmacists, being social workers, singabafundisi, priests and priestesses, magicians, Reiki energy healers, nutritionists, and citizens of South Africa and citizens of the globe. Ikhwelo Healers Collective is comprised of healers from all over the horizon, healers that are coming from the shores of South Africa, healers that are South Africans living in what other people call the diaspora, but we are calling it the liverspora. We also have healers that are coming from various places of the African continent, makhehla amadala. We all are reading the energies to say the time that we live in under the pandemic, which is called COVID-19, is a spiritual moment that is taking us back to remember who we are, to recover who we are. We are remembering ourselves as Ndlondo. So that is how we enter makhehla amadala bogogo mkhulu. Sicela nisihole phezu kwale nkulumo as we honor ubaba iSanusi Sethu, the great one, uBusamazulu, the feminine divine who has risen in all of us with feminine energies of healing to balance the forces of power, the forces of spiritualities of different kinds, the energies in our bodies, in our souls, in our hearts, in our minds, and in our psyche, in our consciousness as a nation, as we build and rebuild and recover ourselves. It is starting with us, Bogogo, where we are looking inside and we are looking inward to ask ourselves, what has been my contribution in this work of pain? What has been my contribution in this work of woundedness? And what can be my contribution, makhehla amadala, in the work of healing? So we are coming here being subjected, Bogogo nabomkhulu, recognizing that we are not perfect beings. We come before you in humility, as in Ndlondo, opening ourselves up, makhehla amadala, submitting ourselves in ways that the Spirit guides us, in ways that the Spirit speaks to us, various spirits and celestial beings, Bogogo, from the horizon, from galactic spaces, phansi kwamanzi emgedeni, entabeni zophahlamba, emagumbini amanomhlaba, phakathi nomhlaba bogogo omkhulu. Siyathokoza indlondlo nenjabulo sikhethe ibala ledlozi bogogo omkhulu singena phakathi kwe-South Africa, from everywhere and all the spaces ngendlela zakhona. Thokozani bogogo. So with that being said, we'll open the space. Gogo Tuli, I don't know if you would like to share a prayer before we continue. Zindlondlo, I'm not sure if Gogo Pagati, anyone that is here, Emagulubeni, you would like to share a prayer or a dream or a vision before Sikubega Makisha Madala, ushering you into what transpired yesterday when we were at Ikalendaba and what has been some of the conversations which we will broadcast here once that has happened. Now, the floor is open, Boko.
Baba wethu onamandla onke emini into sonke, sibulela wena somandla ngethuba uthe wasinika lona solfefe ukuthi sihlangane sizizwe ihealers xa siguqileyo ke ngamadolo phambi kwakho ke somandla. Sikucela ke somandla ukuthi sikhokhele uhambe nathi endleleni. Vula ke wena ke solfefe, uvulelanga mthethelelo xolo, ubonakala uthoba ufefe lwakho phezu kwentloko zethu mesongcwele, kuthi nezandla zethu balungileyo apho sithe khona kasafika sasebenza abantwana babantu mthethelelo xolo, sibabonakale mesongcwele befumana ukuphila balungileyo. Sicela wena ke somandla sukumeme ngawo lo mzuzu xa siphahla mesongcwele siqala balungileyo lemini. Sicela ke wena ke mthethelelo xolo ufikelele nalapho zeningafikelela khona kaUyesu Kristu wamazulu. Amen.
Amen. Gogo siyabulela. Inkosi kakhulu. Ndanethongo. Singakuvaleli ngaphandle Gogo Musa, if you have anything you'd like to share with us.
Thokozani. No, Gogo, I don't have anything to share today. Never.
Ndawo Ndlondlo sikwamukela ngenjabulo phakathi kwamagulube. And everyone here that is sitting from where I'm sitting is just also present and listening, Zindlondlo. So we will continue on that note, Makehla Madala. So yesterday we went to Ikalendaba. Sihamba phezu kwalo mphahlo sikuday number 18, siyafasta siyazila bogogo, and one of the things that have been transpiring in the space of our true visations as ikhwelo healers collective of South Africa has been the work of honoring Isanusi Ubaba Uvusamazulu Insizwa Yagamuka, the great one. And how that work happened is the fact that the spirit of the feminine divine has risen in all of us. And with the messages that are sitting from where Ubaba is sitting, the villages that Ubaba has built all over the country, which reveal this energy that is sitting. So I won't waste any time. Sakwamukela Dokotela, Gogo Mutwahaye, So we're not going to waste any time. This is work actually really that was done by Ukoko Pagati yesterday a lot when some of us were busy talking to the media and talking to ETV, Bokoko. So I'm going to humbly acknowledge that Koko Pagati, we appreciate your leadership in that regard, and Donjo Siabonga for capturing the moments when Uzum was failing us at that time. So Koko, please give me a few minutes. I'm just retrieving these visuals so that we can then have some conversations lona Makehla Madala siphahlela phezulu kwenkulumo ebesinayo izolo. So for those who have not seen some of these conversations, I hope that sound will be in our favor. So it was really a big day, Bokokona Bomkulu. I would probably just start by showing the visuals and we'll just talk and talk openly and and just say what is sitting in our hearts as we are hearing and seeing what is happening. So I found the screen now. Let me just share it. So I hope everyone can see. So these are some of the visuals that were taken yesterday, just to show Uguti the sensation. So what was happening yesterday, Maketla Matala, we had a session with ETV, Anchor, specifically speaking, Channel 403, for those of us who have a DSTV, doing a pre-recording with ikhwelo Healers Collective. We invited the Traditional Health Organization of South Africa, which is THO. So THO was present as well, Maketla Matala, and on all healers that were invited also from other segments of healing systems, those who could make it were present. The process was led by ikhwelo Healers Collective from the time that we started the Traditional Medicine Week. ETV has been talking to us, so this work emanates from that work that we have been doing collectively. And this one in particular had included leadership of the Credo Motor Foundation. So the person that you see there actually is the daughter of our Sanusi, Unozipho, Ugogo, Isis. Gogo, the name Isis was given by Ubaba to her before Ubaba passed on to the other realm. And this is Gogo Fikile. So many of us don't know her face, but she was there. This is the ETV crew. But what you see in front here, where we are all going inside, she is leading us into this altar. This is the place that is called Ikayalendaba, Umsamo. It's a sacred space where Ubaba used to bekapahlela kuyo, athandaza kuyo, and all the revelations and the visions that we see in his books and in the manner that he speaks emanate from this place. So it was such a really a great pleasure to be there and sipahle kuyona le ndawo in this place. And you can see this is the crew. The gentleman that you see here, this is Koko Pagati in front of us, who is also a member of ikhwelo. At the back there, this is the ETV crew, I think, setting up, but there are a number of sculptures which we'll talk about a little bit in terms of what they mean. La phambi kwethu, one of these sculptures that you see here is sculpture of our goddess, Unomkhubulwane. And there's a story behind that is always shared when people visit the village. And there's a couple of Amarondo bells, there's many of them. This is just one next to where we were sitting. And last Kona Maketla Matala, this is a place where Ubaba Uvusamazulu, Mpumelelo Credo Motwa built. This is a sort of a round place. There are two children sitting in front on top of Nomkhubulwane, and then there is also a woman standing and explaining something. There are a number of other statues on the side which you can't see because of the picture. Again, I'm sitting here. This is myself sitting with Ugogo Isis. This is Gogo Rotendo, who is also in the leadership of the Credo Motor Foundation. So the story of Nomkhubulwane is a very, very long one and a beautiful one, but it's suffice to say that there are three statutes here. There is Umama, there is Ubaba here, which is what we call Unkulunkulu Velnqangi, and then there's a son, and there is a child on the side. So the story is long, but to suffice to say that what we learned, because this is a learning center, what we learned is njengoba siphahla sithandaza Maketla Matala, recovering Africa. The revelation came to Ubaba Umuthwa Uvusamazulu that indlela esithandaza ngayo is very, very important, that we recognize the mother. We've been speaking about the spirit of the mother divine, the feminine divine, teaching us to say the prayer Yesintu says actually God the mother, God the father, and then God the child. And it's very similar indlela evele ngayo kuBaba Umuthwa with the prayers that you see being done. For instance, when we pray in terms of Christianity, saying God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. But actually, the initial prayer emanating from the goddess Unomkhubulwane is that story that says we praying God the Mother, patriarchy came in, the dominance of maleness came in, and somehow then, because of these oppressions of systems of the past, that was taken away. So it was beautiful to sit there and listen and to these stories, and that is what the Credo Mucha Foundation speaks to. And you will see there's a number of symbols as you walk around the village, which I don't have necessarily time to talk about now. Abogogo sithandaze, abanye bethu sithi amarondovel, izindlu zabogogo ziningi in the village, and the intention, le ndawo yakhelwa ama-healers bendabuko, balaphi bendabuko, to come in really and sit and do the work of healing. There's lots of medicines and indigenous trees around, and there's a lot of space also for building and creation of food, and food systems of different kinds for healing our bodies and our minds and our spirits. So that is how the village is, in this image. You can see this is Unomkhubulwane, our goddess. This is the image of the father, and there's a bed on top of that. In ancient times, we had talking beds. Abanye bethu bahamba nawo lamadlozi ey'nyoni, where you receive the messages from the spirits of birds and different kinds of birds. So that symbolism was showing, from the spiritual realm, that in ancient times we actually had talking birds who are spirit beings, and of course, because of evolution and violences and so on, um, we don't necessarily get talking birds as in the language that we can understand, but birds continue to speak as spirit beings. Abanye ngokobumnyanga siyaye sithi yidlozi labalozi, where you're hearing to you, you can speak to birds, you can hear from the spirits of birds and receive messages. So some of us is hamba nawo lamadlozi abalozi. Ubaba Umutwa was one of them, the great one, guiding us through that spirit. And then, of course, you can see the child there. So this is a God, the mother, God the father, and God the child. Indlela kwakuthandaza ngayo kwasemandulo bantu abadala bogogo-mkhulu, masikhuluma ngomoya kaNomkhulwane, we're speaking about that. You can see again there the symbolisms. This gentleman comes from German television. They were also there. So the broadcasting of ikhwelo Healers Collective has gone wide. Makehla Madala. It will be shown live as soon as we know. We will circulate it. But they also did an interview with us as ikhwelo and the Credo Mucha Foundation, mainly to talk about issues of traditional medicine from the week that we started. And of course, we did say that we are running this as a campaign. It's not a once-off event. They were particularly interested in our understanding of what we talk about when we talk about vaccines. The fact that kunabodokotela abaningi from Western countries who have landed in our shores and are continuing their vaccination, their corona. How are we receiving that message and how are we dealing with it? And we'll share some of the conversations shortly. So this is what we have, and you can see the images clearly here. Maungena, and what is happening here also in the middle, image, you can see colorful sculptures there. But what it means, it's really a representation of the different races of humankind, where the races are white and yellow and red and so on. But basically, the explanation there was that we never really have something that we call race. We are one human race. We are one race, which is called the human race. So Baba has those revelations, and you can see there on the top, at the end of it, once you emerge with all these colors of the races, right at the top there, it becomes a one race that is actually human. In the spiritual realm, the revelations were shown to him, and we also know this story, many of us, that these were created races. None of us were actually really and are colors of our skins. We are indeed the human race. So that is also what you see when you enter the village, in terms of sculptures. So I will try and see if I can't show. So let's go up a little bit. Here, what you see is sound is going to fail us here. Okay, Bokoko, its sound is very, very low, but I'm going to, I think this is shared on ikhwelo Healer's page.
Mm.
So it's just to say, can you hear it, Makesh?
Mm.
You can?
I can on my side.
Yes, we can. I
Oh,
can.
all right. Okay, Thokozani. So I will start it from the beginning. I thought maybe you couldn't.
Very fast, okay. Okay, so it's gonna go.
Mm. Mm-mm. Nyamadele. Nyamezi.
And it works. And Madagascar was seeing that. The World Health Organization, the collecti was just at the beginning of the year, appeared as if it was really a support system. But something happened along the way, we don't know what it is. In Madagascar, the pharmaceutical companies came on board. Bill Gates came on board. You know, we know these things are happening. The United States came on board. And it is about money. If you look at the Bill Gates Foundation, they're actually funding a lot of pharmaceutical companies and NGOs that are actually doing this work of producing pharmaceuticals. And that's when the story was overturned, which is why even Madagascar at some point threatened to leave the World Health Organization to say Africa is going to do it and is going to do it from Africa. We need to actually think, right? And anyone that actually goes a plan, there's a particular reason why certain funds are located in certain geographical places. But for the relationship between the sun, the cosmos, like people have heard of our great fund, you know, to say when we are located in certain places, the sun here in the south shines in a certain way. The moon and the sun come at certain times. The rivers and the seas and the oceans just receive that's the most different ways, which means that certain plants are going to grow here. No matter how much they get propagated, that person still needs to keep coming back here. But for that relationship to exist, it means that the propagator, the growers, have got to constantly be subjected to that propagation is process over time, which is why Madagascar is under attack. Why vaccination is a problem. You know, so we need to go back to those conversations as far as I'm concerned, and make sure that we determine we need to determine what we call vaccination and people really have this relationship with plants and medicine in a traditional way. And which is then the question of saying, what is even science? What is science? You know, because when you think about vaccines, people are saying, when you are testing medicine, what kinds of methodologies are you using? One of the laboratories that tells us that this test works, it doesn't work. Why is it that we don't recognize ancient systems of pioneering? Ancient systems of testing? We have been doing this thing. Our great grandmothers and our grandfathers have been doing this. You go to the forest, you get a herb, you drink, you wake up, you take the time, and you feel with it. And it has worked. Why is it now that it can only be tested in terms of Western methodology, then it becomes acceptable in different states? When it is in terms of circumstance, tell us a story of a person or people that have died from being administered with traditional medicine by healers, ancient healers. You know, give us statistics. And you can give us statistics of so many patients who died in Western hospitals. You know, using drugs that have been controlled. We know this under psychiatric systems of health. So there's so much that we can talk about, and this is why we can't just accept the fact that people can just let in our shores and our stations, and they say that they're coming to do vaccination. No, it's problematic. We have to go back to chemists, honestly. We have to go back to understanding who we are and rebuild that relationship with rock, with even healing from rock. Sorry, here's the picture. All of us must benefit. We can't go back from where we come from. That's only the white people out there. All of our cultures sorts of traditional on the ground. And it's also about content. I mean, honestly, this relationship is just deepening those relationships. You know, we need to dismantle those cycles of that. That's going to come and eat or decay all the time. We are saying that Mother Earth belongs to all of us. Africa is Mother Earth. Africa believes that we need to live on that. Africa and Kenya really need to use the word peace in all of us. Don't come here and want to live on your own. You know, we know everybody is hungry, everybody is all need to eat from the soil from Mother Earth. All need to steal from Mother Earth. Why do you want to eat coffee? Why do you want to
Thokozani Bokoko, I'm gonna find another one.
Okay.
Did you hear the sound? Must you continue showing, Maket?
We did hear the sound, Gogo.
Thokozani. So I'm gonna share just a few more. There's one or two, and then we'll have reflections on that.
Okay.
Let me just find it. So these were some of the conversations that we were having at Ikayalenda. But let me bring one where Koko Kekeleto and I think Koko Rutendo are speaking.
and come up with the skill. So the fact that we know for a fact that it's been used in suppressed people to help them to get better. We should have actually gone in and found the actor that's responsible for the immune boosting and actually use that to strengthen the body and so I know that they don't want to. It's not that we don't have the solution, it's just the solutions are not enough when it's present. Who is to know that the majority of the medicines that are out there are not actually plants that we tell them about? They then go and take that plant and isolate it. And then by the time it comes back to you, it's now called what, you know, a very scientific name. But actually, the plant itself, because we, as a traditional medicine, we use the whole plant. They use extract. But it's stealing our knowledge. And it's okay when they steal our knowledge, and our knowledge is good enough for them to control it, but it's not good enough when you. But I think as traditional leaders, we also in the fact that traditional leaders is the one that physically works on the ground. Even when they started to do the vaccine, that the consulted any traditional leaders. They use our Sonyani that we know more about than them that are good to that. So they should have really included traditional leaders all over the world to be part of the vaccination. I really the traditional way. So we are treating our patients the traditional way with Sonyani and our herbs that we have stealing our knowledge. And we must take back, as leaders, we must take back that cultural knowledge of us needs to be known out from us.
Okay, so that was the other one. And then this one is actually an interview then that this is done by German television as well when we're talking about this whole question of the vaccine. What is our take as traditional healers in South Africa about the vaccine? So I'm just going to play these two segments. They're not long, they're very short.
Okay.
ancient vaccination systems have always changed that. Like you're saying, we have more than 72% of the population that has been surviving for centuries with ancient inoculation systems that have been used, which are vaccination systems in themselves. So we have to then be sensitive even about the language that we use. We have to re-language ourselves. COVID-19 is a moment that is reminding us that we are abantu, singabantu, bebantu. So we have to then, even in the manner that we call things, the main things of who we are, use the language of origin, which is the language of collect. So we are not saying that these vaccinations that are coming again in themselves in our souls are not necessarily vaccinations. In fact, they are violent vaccinations in the manner that they are happening because it is about extracting, it is about propagating that which should be shared equally by everybody on earth from Mother Earth. So we are saying that we have the vaccine, which are traditional, which are ancient in our souls. There are vaccines. That's the vaccine for you. Do not come here and tell us that this is how we should vaccinate. You come here, when you enter, like you entered here, Baba, to create the vegetation, to come as you. Yangena si passing in Oniko. You come with respect. You need your papata and you request to say, how do you do this here? And then we will say, the veterans are saying, this is how we do this here. These are the medicines. And Infanyana is one of them. There are many others that is what you can see where we are sending. There's lots of medicines in place. We plant on the African continent. We plant in South Africa. There have been used for many, many years. And so we are saying, let us do this in the way. Let us do this the right way. And we have to see in this way. These people, education. So we are healers. We are here. We exist. We live here.
Do you think that the fact that there is a relatively low, a little bit, but which we let ourselves actually, that's perfect. Correct. Do you think that the fact that the
Okay. So I will get the second one.
This medicine is only so that is the reason. So the world needs to take that as a
So the question here, Bokoko, on this one, sorry, I just want to explain what the question was here because it didn't come up clearly. So the question that was asked by the German television journalists from Africa is, why is it that during this COVID-19 pandemic, Africans are not dying in numbers?
Okay.
That is a question that is being asked globally. Why is it, even though we get infected, we bounce back? What is it that is happening in Africa that the numbers are so low when the numbers are so high in the US and in parts of
Other
the world?
countries.
So this was the response.
And that healer. So we consume these medicines on a daily basis. So that is the reason. So the world needs to take that as a message that says, let us go back to our source of healing, our healing, which is Mother Africa. And come back. Mother Africa believes that we are all human, we are interconnected, we need to share from the resources of the land, including resources of healing, including resources of food. So that is why we are not dying as much as the world expected that the COVID-19 is going to wipe out Africa. We are not going anywhere because we are eating the original source of healing. And we have been propagated essentially. Mother Earth is fighting it. Mother Earth is recovering herself. We say, never again will this propagation happen in my name. We need to come back to Mother Earth and apologize and be parted. We call it party. I don't know in English what should I call it, but we do a ritual that recognizes Mother Earth, that recovers Mother Earth, and you re-language also when you do that. And one of the re-language also is to recognize that you can no longer just come here and talk about vaccines that are sugar-coated in Western language. You need to come here with respect and recognize the fact that Africa is our mother for healing. Africa is our mother for food food for our health, medicine for our mind, medicine for our body, medicine for our blood, for our immune system. This is the reason why we are not dying.
So that is so I just want to see if there's anything else to share, Zintlonto, and then we will continue. I'm trying to minimize the screen here so that we can go back to where we were. Okay, so this then was part of the ETV. You can see here the presenter from Enka, Dumelo Mototwane, and on the program called #Africa. That is where the actual show will be broadcasted live. And they just shared the snippets with us. And the show, Maketa Matala, will be on Wednesday at 21:30. So please tune in at channel 404 on DSTV, Africa News Beyond Borders. #Africa is a show about a modern developing Africa that is innovating to meet today's challenges, like the ones that we are dealing with from where we are sitting as Abalapi Bendabogo, and claiming its place in the world. As much as we are saying also here that this is the African rebirth process, particularly September in Hlobo, iyathwasa i-Africa, siyathwasa South Africa. Kausani ke ntwaso ya Basotho on the 19th of September in terms of the African calendar. On the 23rd of September, when this show will be broadcasted live on ETV Makehla, it will be African New Year in terms of the African calendar. So it's part of celebrating all of that. So the show covers the key news stories from the continent as well as what Africans are talking about today. So that is what it will be. And this is Tumelo. I think this was just of the images that were taken there. And that's the ETV crew. You've already seen this Bokoko. And this is a closer look at Ukoko ISIS. There's a lot Ukoko ISIS would like to talk to us about, Makehla, around how we can utilize the village as Abalapi Bendabugo, because that is what has been sitting at the center of the heart of our Sanos Ubaba Ukredo Busamazulu Mutra, to make sure that this village does not die, that this knowledge does not die, that we build food in this village for all of us to eat, that we build medicines from this village for all of us to heal from Mother Earth. And she's ready, Boko Konabumkulu. Goko Rotendo also said the same thing. Goko Rotendo is the chairperson of the Credo Muta Foundation. They have been with us at ikhwelo Healers Collective during the traditional medicine week in Londo. And we said to them, at the moment, they are taking a pilgrimage to Inzalo Yelanga. Inzalo Yelanga, our place of our origin. Baya Pashas in Londo, and anyone is welcome to join Inzalo Yelanga. They will be there doing cleansing at Inzalo Yelanga on the 19th, which is tomorrow, on the day of Ndwaso Yabasutu. So some of us who are able to make it to Inzalo Yelanga, please let us know. We will make sure that we all go there. Inzalo Yelanga is really that place that originated what we now call the pyramids in Egypt. But actually, it started here in South Africa, right in our land, where we are sitting. And we were never South Africa. But one of these days, we will reveal who we were and who we are in terms of our name. So that is Usanosi Makehla Matalen. That's the crew that was showing us Ukoko Phakathi Lwensizwa Kakutser that you're talking about, who's really been taking all these visuals, a member of ikhwelo Healers Collective, Zintlonto. And there's a lot of sculptures that we won't even finish to talk about in this short space of time because Umphatha is an hour. But there's a story of healing. There's a story. These are our First Nations, Maketa, as you can see, in terms of where we come from when we're talking about the Khois and the Sons and so on. There's a lot to talk about there as we continue on Sebenzi with Pasha, Sitandaza, and seeking guidance. And these are also our spiritual guides. Some people call it the short ones and so on. So these are the images. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Again, the image of Unom Kubulwane and the two children and the healing woman who's saying, let us stop this war. These two children are arguing, according to the story Baba Moto is telling us. You can see here is two boys who are arguing about the size of their genitals. The other one says, no, you have a small one. And the other one says, you have a big one. And the spiritual message there is that it always happens, that people fight about the mother. They fight on top of the mother and forget the role of the mother. And this one comes in as the feminine divine also standing up and say, please just stop this war about who is small or big and so on. And the conversation goes to those statues of grace to say we are one, we are a human race, and we can live together. And this is the story of the father, uNkulunkulu uMbelinqangi, and the birds, the birds that I spoke about, which are the speaking birds, talking birds that we have here. Asapila leyinyoni, but we'll continue in another day, Makhetla, because of time. So that has been ikhaya lendaba yesterday. Bogogo nabomkhulu. That is the work that we were doing the whole day, and sincere apologies that we could not broadcast. The only thing that we missed there, Zindlondlo, was umphahlo, the session la singene khona phakathi kwamagulube kababa, which I showed you earlier on when we started this brief. Khona ugogo Isis basically took us into the umsamo kababa, and we entered. Wasinikeza isikhumba Zindlondlo, isikhumba that is sacred. Makhehla madala ngokwesiko lwendabuko, mangabe uyisanusi and you pass on to the other realm, kuye kuthiwe kufanele uhlabe imbuzi Zindlondlo. You slaughter an animal which is called a goat for sacrificing, to say siyacela esanusi ubeke isikhwama so that it can be taken by others to continue the journey of healing, because we are spiritual beings with a human experience, so that those who are still in the human experience are able to take on the bat and run with it. For the first time, Makehla Madala, Usanusi Ugogo Isis mentioned to us as a ikhwelo collective. What he has Bokoko Bomkulu Makehla, I don't know what to say. I'm very emotional, I'm very spiritual, because you're the first people to come here and open Ikhaya Lendaba, to open this village after Ubaba passed on to the other realm. And you're the first people ever to kneel on Iskumba. And in our culture, in our nature, whoever kneels first on this thing, because we've been asking Ubaba to say, show us who needs to take this baton on. And the fact that you came here and you knelt on it, and you nasivulela ngempepho naphahla nivule umsamo kababa, which means that we are ready as a nation, which is why also it was significant that it happened in the same day nabo when they were going to inzalo yelanga. So the story is long, Makehla Madala, kodwa sihamba nomphahlo and the revelations and the visions and the things that are happening in our midst, and that is what transpired. Bogogo sila sikhona manje ngomphahlo wethu, which is day 18, when we are entering a process of cleansing. Sivula imisamo bogogo, silapha imisamo in our own homes, in our own lives, through this image. I've spoken so much, but I needed to give this background because we were not able to all zoom in together. It is 4 o'clock on the dot, and I'm going to ask in the room whether Abokoko still have time to speak, maybe for the next couple of minutes, or do you want to end it here? 3 o'clock about these reflections, just in respect of time. I am flexible, Maketa, I'm here, Zindlond, but I want to respect time as well. Thokozani.
Thokoza gogo.
Ndawo.
Thokoza bogogo lebomkhulu. Comrade Gogo Fix, we can only say thank you, thank you, thank you. Wenali Gogo Pagati and Gogo Kekelezo for representing us there. We could not all be there, and when you are there, all of us were there. And I'm happy, Gogo, you raised the issue of Madagascar, because when Madagascar said we are using umhlonyana Tina, and we can assist the world, they were made a hoax or a joke. I don't know, because umhlonyana we've been using, every one of us maskula. We're having umhlonyana kojarteng when our parents were still there. Okay, wanyamalala, but it's still there. Because I've been using umhlonyana since lockdown, and I used to be asthmatic. I was on asthmatic treatment for 20 years or so, Kanti, I'm allergic to certain foods. They picked it up, whole slech. I had an allergic attack, but I survived. So during winter sessions, I become sick, but this winter, nothing. I was on Mhlonyana until now. Although there's this green stuff problem with me, I know I don't take much. But Gok Pagati was explaining the whole herbal system story thing, and something hit my remembrance that as a young midwife, when I came here in Zerast, I'm in Zerast now, I was a midwife, a young midwife for that matter. Our women were dying of postpartum hemorrhage. After delivery, we give them egometrin to contract the uterus. When they go back home, they die of post-hemorrhage. And as a young activist, I was not sure I was an activist then, but because I'm a nurse, I was worried these women were coming back to the same hospital, dying. They came pale. I requested the superintendent, Waliburu then, I just Stwana, can we go to this village? And then they die. Only to find that they do say to Sabona, Lebona, Sito Sabona, Hamusadi, this Mutueti Abuela Kuhai. And then what is this? We are giving them egometrin to contract the uterus. Lona, you are giving them something that is making them to bleed. What is happening? And then we had a common understanding. The women stopped dying because somehow say alapile, but I was not sure say alapile. But as we converse now, okay, I want to know how we did something, Mus. And when we went to Zimbabwe, there was a sister, there was a doctor, and there was Ngakaya Swana under the same rondavel in the same yard. And you choose Koreakai, Komang, and then they will refer to one another. So we coexist really. So I'm very happy that this trip has started, this journey has started. And there's a gogo here who reminded us last Kore, Usanusi, Ute, we should not say umkumbula, urleke nomkumbuluano. So something corrected that name, and but Siabonga comrade Gogo, Siatogoza, really. We are very happy for this journey. Thank you very much, Siatogoza. Thank you.
Ndawo siyabonga mkhulu nejabula mkhehla madala. Gogo Thuli and Gogo Phakathi, any comments? Anyone from Facebook? If you have any comments, please feel free to write.
They just said Thokozane, but Fikile Vilakazi. Thokozane bogogo nabomkhulu. It was an amazing day yesterday. We could feel the spirit of Baba Credo Moto's presence there. It was amazing, something you can't even describe. And I was so grateful, we were so grateful to be there. Unfortunately, when we passed us, we couldn't shoot, you know. Sometimes amadlozi, they just don't want certain things to be shot. And we could just be ourselves to pass and to pray there. And we were felt so blessed by Baba Credo's presence. The only comments that I see for now on Facebook is myself that I did greet, and Gogo Pindile from Eastern Cape that greeted. Thokozane Makehla ndawo share.
Thokoza siyabonga Gogo. Siyabonga mkhulumia for rising Kehla and also showing up for this session in Ndlondo. Siyathokoza la uhleli khona in the Eastern Cape, sithi Camagu eKehla. I don't see any comments for Gogo, and I see it is 4:06. So Ndlondo, we are entering a phase of cleansing the nation, cleansing ourselves. Ngokwesiko labogogo nesiko lendabuko kuyaye kuthiwe ngokwesiko lakwantu asisho njalo because re batho singabantu. Ka moetlo wa setho kuthiwa mangabe mhlambe kuthiwa you are mourning because we are a country in mourning because of all these things that we have spoken about. Kuthiwe kungene umkhokha phakathi kwekhaya.
Thank
Umkhokha is what other people would call umoya omubi. Others would call it negative energy. For those of us who are doing Reiki healing, because I am also initiated in Reiki and energy work.
Okay.
And some of us would call it evil spirit if you are initiated in terms of Christianity. And for those of us who are initiated in terms of the power of Jesus Christ. So, and there's many other names that we can call it. For those of us who are calling, I think from Muhammad, Allah, the spirit of Islam, it is called, I will remember the name now. So, but the Muslims would say we need barakat.
Okay.
May Allah grant us Jannat Firdausi. And the Christians would say we need the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, to heal us and to cleanse us. Izinyanga abogogo nabomkhulu, we would say sidinga ukuyolahla bogogo umoya zindlondlo. Ukuyolahla is a process of cleansing when you do rituals in Samo and you take the spirit out. We are entering that phase as a nation, bogogo, where we need to go siyolahla umoya we-racism. In the morning, for those of us abavukile at 3 a.m., one of the things that transpired is that the spirit of racism is cancer in our society. It is cancer in our homes. It is cancer in our lives. The spirit of greed. Kukhulunyiwe ngendaba ye-greed also emphahleni wasekuseni around the issue of land and Mother Earth. To say Mother Earth is meant to be shared by all of us. But greed has entered the space where some of us do not want to share from the land. We want to take most of the land for ourselves and not share with everyone else. So we are praying against that spirit of greed, to be given amandla, womoya, bogogo. We have been saying that this war that we are facing is not the war of guns and spears. It is the war of the spirit. We even made examples in the morning at 3 a.m. For those of us who were there, that there are many examples around the sharing of land and the resources that ended badly because of greed, ended badly also because of guns and spears. What we are praying for here, Makehla, is a solution that is spiritual, that recognizes the fact that singabantu, sicela ama-solutions akwantu to be able to recover Mother Earth for everyone, to recover Mother Earth, the land, for all of us to share in it, and to heal Mother Earth so that we do not propagate Mother Earth. We do not take so much from Mother Earth in ways that are violent. So there's so much to say in Ndlondo, but I'm just grateful, Gogo Mutwagaye. I'm grateful, Gogo Thuli, Ngobungena Phakoma Gulube, Gogo Phakathi, Fikile Vilakazi, nabanye abasijoyinile ku-Facebook, bomkhulu bomia. Ney'ndlondlo zonke ezisijoyinile Makehla. Iyaphahla ikhwelo Healers Collective. Siphahla ngendlela ehlukile bogogo. Some of us siku-full fasting la singene khona soloko saqala on the 1st. We are not eating bogogo, sizilile until the 30th. Some of us, we skip certain meals in the day. Some of us, we skip things that we love the most. Some of us, we sacrifice moments that we love the most to be able to do this. Some of us asikwazi ukungena ku-Zoom because of the limitations of data and resources, but siyaphahla ey'ndumbeni zethu abanye bethu asinazo even iy'ndumba, but siyaphahla emathafeni, siyaphahla emanzini, siyaphahla in our quiet spaces. Whichever way you are doing it, bogogo, it matters. Wherever we are sitting, some of us are in bridges because we do not have homes at this point, but we are sleeping under the bridges. Umpahlo wethu is important. Makhetla madala, as South Africans, singabomakhelwane, singabogogo, sakhelene. Even in our homes, siyaphahla, sindlondlo, silungisa imisamo yamakhaya. In our relationships, we are praying to heal ourselves. Because if you do not heal ngaphakathi, we're pointing at each other, we're pointing at us. Fikile ugogo Solomon, I'm looking at myself also and saying that I'm doing this work of healing and this work of taking responsibility to heal myself, because if I'm not healed, I'm going to wound the other person. And the woundedness will spiral into the community. So that is what we are saying, Zintonto, as we asihlehli bokhulu, asihlehli Makhetla madala nenjabulo bogogo siyabonga. Umsebenzi and the spirit of Ubaba Mutha and the remembrance and the reminders of Nomkhumbulwane. Siyabonga Gogo Mutshwakhaya to remind us again that kwakungathiwa uNomkhubulwane, the actual name kwakuthiwa uNomkhumbulwane Makhetla madala. Nomkhumbulwane ngesizulu kuthiwa the one who remembers makuthiwa phecelezi ngesingisi bogogo. Siyabonga-ke Makhetla madala that we are remembering ourselves bogogo. Our goddess Nomkhubulwane, uNkulunkulu wethu Mbelinqani Makhetla madala, as we return to the journey of Kemet bomkhulu, hambani nathi Zintonto as we enter our parliament umsamo wethu bomkhulu, as we enter umphahlo nomsamo wethu in our communities, as we start in our homes bogogo mkhulu silungisa khona. Makube kuhle kwande kuzo zonke iy'ndlondlo ezingenile phakathi kwamagulube, singakhethi ibala ledlozi bomkhulu. Siyabonga Ndlondlo iy'ndlela zakhona, thokozani, re a leboga bontate Modimo, re a leboga moya o galalelang o ntse o tsamaya le rona, o re thusa gore re seke ra iketsetsa, re etse ka boikokobetso, re etse Modimo ka lebitso la hao, re seke ra o lebala gore ke wena Modimo o di entseng tso tsotlhe. No ntse o le teng emandulo, uNkulunkulu ongahlulwa ilutho, wena Mbelinqani uNkulunkulu wezinto zonke, umdali wezulu nomhlaba, umdali wezinto ezikhona phakathi emhlabeni nakho konke, uNkulunkulu omuhle. Sicela ukuthi uphume nathi phakathi kwale ndawo, singahlehleli kude, kodwa uhlale nathi ngamandla kaMoya Omngcwele, usiphe umoya wokuyithoba, umoya wokuthandaza, umoya wena ngonyama yakwaJuda, umoya wena ngonyama esesizweni samaZulu, umoya wena ngonyama yakwantu, sikwazi ukuthi sibuye phakathi kwale ndawo, siphelele Makhetla madala ngendlela zakhona. Hallelujah. Amen.
Amen.
Awuwe.
Oh, Thokoza. Thokoza.
Thank you so much. We will meet at 3 a.m. Gogo Thuli, I see you are. Do you want to say something?
No, benibonga ngithokozisa bo.
Ndawuwe.
Thokoza Ndawuwe.
Siyabulela kakhulu. We will meet at 3 a.m. Zindondo. Thank you so much for staying in and for holding on. We are almost there. Day 18, we are halfway. Tomorrow, Makhetla madala, we are celebrating Ntwaso ya Basotho. Any of us baleng gore ke Basotho and you would like to join this prayer and to join the celebration ya Besotho, singabesotho re le batho e le Ntwaso ya Basotho, please join us. Feel free to be here. The space is open for everyone. We would like to also reiterate, Makhetla madala, that the space is open for all of us, from all political parties, from all faith spaces. This is for citizens of South Africa. Kaofela ha rona ha re kopaneng re rapelle setjhaba sa rona bonkgono, re seke ra re ai nna ke tlhagile ko ANC or ke tlhagile ko EFF ke tlhagile kae. We all belong here. Ha ile gore mozalwane or a mozalwane or mo church or mo kae or o sangoma, we all belong here bo gogo. Ngendlela zakhona Makhetla asihlanganeni. We need each other. This is a revolution of love. This is a revolution of healing. Thokozani.
Thokoza.
Thanks.
Siyabonga.